Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sawcruhteez Streamz, and I am your host, Sawcruhteez. I've got a very exciting show planned for today. I just published the EMASAR Indicator that I've been working on for the last, I guess, couple months now, talking about a little bit on the last few shows, and do have that up and running on TradingView as of maybe an hour or two ago, so that's very exciting. Today, the large majority of the show will be just focusing on going in depth into the description of that indicator, what it is, how it works, and why it may be useful, and for some people out there, maybe not for other people. So definitely excited to dive right into that. We have also seen some volatility in the Bitcoin price action since I've been on last in the last couple days. So I do plan on at the very end, last maybe 10-15 minutes, just giving a quick update about my thoughts on the current market. But as I said, the majority of this episode is just going to be focusing on some of the details about the indicator that was just published. So before diving into the description of everything, I did just want to tease a little bit to potentially keep people interested over the next 20 minutes or so as we maybe go over some little bit drier content. And just if you are not knowing anything about this indicator, I'm wanting to give you a little bit of a reason to continue watching over the next 20 minutes or so. So I did just want to start by going back over some of the recent signals that we have seen on Bitcoin. As you can see, I really like how this turned out. It's very, very straightforward. I mean, as straightforward as it gets, just basically tells you what to do and what price to do it at. And then the rest is just basically up to the individual to execute for themselves. So here we do see a nice long open. Let's see here, make sure I'm on the right chart. Let's see. Yeah, I did want to use this chart here because it's neat on TradingView. They keep you honest basically by showing your previous posts on charts that you update. They will be showing the posts that you were making at the different times. So it's cool to see the posts that I made like over a year ago now kind of lining up very nicely. As you can see, why I like the system so much is it is what I use to trade personally. It's my most important tool. It's really the only thing that I use to signal entries and exits. And you guys will often hear me say something along the lines of this is what I think is going to happen, but it really doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what the signal is. And just in the last maybe episode or two episodes ago, went over the recent signal, which was open short at 86.34. So that was nice. Didn't make a post on TradingView, but here we see that back in here around 6,400, it's telling us to get short back in 2018, and I was making some posts telling people to get short, and then down in here we get the long signal, and right in line with where I was posting telling people to get long. And then up in here we start getting the close long comes up here. We can't see the exact price. I can't zoom in. We could probably go over to the other chart so I could zoom in. Close long came at 11,195, and that is where you start seeing some sell signals coming from my account. So as you can see, these indicators that go into developing these buy and sell signals are ones that I have paid very close attention to for a while, and this is what I'm so excited about with this indicator is it's designed specifically for Bitcoin and for crypto, and specifically for parabolic markets. What we really are looking to do with this is to get in before these big parabolic moves and hold out all the way through them. Not only getting in at a very good place, but holding through when there's many times where it looks like this has gone too far, too fast, and is ready to reverse. And that's what this indicator does such a good job of, is not only signaling the entries, but also keeping you in as the price continues to move in your favor. So just go over a couple more signals, basically one more showing the 2017 parabolic move had us getting out and back in at definitely a worse price, and that will happen, absolutely, no doubt about it. But what it does is gets us back in before that next parabolic move, and it keeps us in all the way up to around 15,000 and then tells us to start going short. So it does a very, very good job of capitalizing on these parabolic moves, telling you when to get out of positions and then when to go ahead and enter into the other side. Okay. So with that being said, let's just kind of dive right into some back test results that we will go over here in a little bit, but just again to try to give a little bit of a teaser before getting into the description and that sort of thing. Wanting to look at Bitcoin, buy and hold strategy versus EMASAR is outperforming in a big way. About, I guess that's a little over 6 to 1, 600% beating Bitcoin, which has been the fastest growing asset over the last 10 years. If you're able to beat that, then you're going to be setting yourself up pretty nicely. But please keep in mind, past performance does not guarantee future results. So we will get into that a little bit more. Just scrolling through here, ETH is by far the best market for this indicator, and I can speak from experience that ETH has been my most profitable market to trade since 2017. I didn't realize how much more profitable this indicator is on ETH than even something like Bitcoin, but it didn't surprise me based on how well I have seen it working in real time on Ethereum. I get down to XRP, not nearly as interesting. BCH, notice how a market that's down 32%, still up over a couple %,000% with this indicator. So okay, that's enough of a teaser. Going to go ahead and jump right in for anybody that is interested in learning more. I have set up a website, sawcruhteez.com. SAWCRUHTEEZ.com. Link is in the description, and it's just basically a one-page site for now. Maybe I'll do a little bit more with it in the future, but for now it's just a landing page to describe what the EMASAR indicator is and how to buy it. So I say at the very top in bold letters, please read the full description before buying or using this indicator, and that is what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the important details that I think are very important to cover before getting into some more back testing and then how to buy it. Okay, scroll over to the chat, make sure everything's working good. See Fabric King in the chat. How's it going? And Marcus Recliner Report. Good to see you guys. Yeah, some people from around the world tuning in. How's it going, Frank Ybarra? It's good to see you as well. So, all right, let's go ahead and dig right in. Again, Sawcruhteez.com, EMASAR Indicator, and this is what it's about. So, EMASAR is pronounced EMASAR, like instead of EMA or something, EMASAR. It's a strategy based on exponential moving averages and the parabolic SAR. This is a trading approach that is derived from Tyler Jenks' Consensio. There are links here, so if you do come and look at this description, you don't know what the parabolic SAR is, you can just go ahead and click on that link, and it will take you to specifically a description of the lucid SAR so that you know you're getting the exact right formula based on Wells Wilder's original calculation. And then Consensio, that's a deep dive into Consensio on YouTube that is out there for free to describe Tyler Jenks' Consensio. People that have been learning about Consensio and follow me for a little bit know that that provides the foundation of how I trade, although I have made some adjustments to make it, in my opinion, better suited for crypto specifically. I use it on I use exponential moving averages, whereas Tyler used simple moving averages. I use a shorter time frame chart with longer period moving averages. Tyler used a higher time frame chart with lower period moving averages. And I guess this is a good segue into a couple things to talk about today, and that is that just getting set up and ready to go to unconfiscatable in 2020, and I'm actually going to be one of the workshop instructors this year. Reason I did want to bring this up is because I am going to be covering basically what is called Advanced Consensio, which was the last webinar that we were working on to bring to you guys, but before he passed away unexpectedly. So I'll be really excited to share these concepts that I have given a lot of thought about and learned a lot from. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today, I'll probably mention it again, is there will be, anybody that attends this workshop will get a free copy of the EMASAR Indicator for 1 year. So that's something that I will get into here a little bit more later on, but I thought that that was a good segue to go ahead and just mention that the differences that I use Consensio for will be fully covered in that workshop, and we'll be providing a free copy of the indicator for a year. So if you are considering going to unconfiscatable and you would be thinking about joining for the Advanced Consensio workshop, then you can just sign up through there and send me an email, and I'll definitely make sure that you're added. Okay. This strategy was developed with 4 objectives in mind. 1, managing risk. 2, protecting from missing out on major trends. 3, maximizing risk reward. 4, staying in a trending market and taking profit before it fully reverses. These are concepts you guys hear me talk about a lot. These are the most important aspects of trading to me, and that's why they were the goals that I was trying to accomplish when putting this together. EMASAR does a great job at accomplishing all the above through the buy and sell signals that are generated. The data provided below came from signals that occurred on Bitcoin on the exchange Bitstamp from January 1, 2015 through November 11th, 2019. So just keep that in mind. Number 1, risk management. Risk is tightly managed relative to the winners, and losing positions will be exited before the market moves too far against. Based on this time period above, the biggest losing trade on Bitcoin is 18.47%. Okay. So for some people that may seem like a big loss, but for me and the way that I trade on the going for longer, larger term moves, this is totally within reason. So number 2, following the EMASAR buy and sell signals guarantees that one will not miss out on a major trend. I very much hesitate to use the word guarantee with anything like this, but the bottom line is that it's mathematically not possible for a major trend to occur without providing a buy or sell signal. When I'm talking about a Bitcoin major trend, we're talking about, you know, like 100% rally at least, often more than that, or much, you know, like one of the 80% corrective bear markets. These things can't happen without, unless it's, you know, something happens in the blink of an eye, every exchange in the world goes down, and 99.99% I can feel confident saying that there is no way for a market to have a full reversal or a major trend without a buy or a sell signal occurring, and that is all based on the mathematical indicators that are used. For example, you can't have a bull market with a short-term moving average being below a long-term moving average. Doesn't happen. For there to be a bull market, you need price above a short-term moving average and a short-term moving average above a longer-term moving average. By definition, that is required for a reversal or a trend. So therefore, we can use these indicators that are based entirely on math to make sure that we're not going to either miss out on a big move or get kind of caught with our pants down after it fully reverses and gives up all of the gains that we once had. So that is number 2 most important thing for me when developing this indicator, protecting from missing out on major trends. Could also say getting out before fully reverses. That's number 4. Okay, good. 3, on average, the winning trade will be 5.5 times the losing trades. There will be stretches where the losers are bigger than the winners, and this could last for many months, maybe even a year. However, over the long run, the average reward is expected to be 5.55 times the average risk. 1 second. Make myself a note. And of course, past performance does not guarantee future results. This indicator was designed to capitalize on parabolic markets, specifically Bitcoin and altcoins. Crypto markets have a tendency to get moving so fast that many indicators become all but useless. Entries can get signaled too late, and exits will get signaled way too early. This is specifically true when using oscillators that are designed to identify overbought or oversold environments. EMASAR does a great job of keeping us in a position for the duration of a trend, and this includes the major parabolic runs that Bitcoin has a tendency to go on. Take a look at the 2 charts below, which illustrate the buy and sell signals that occurred during the 2017 and 2019 parabolic moves. We already went over those at the top of the hour, but we just see that here we had all the things for a reversal in place. So not only did the shorts get exited, long was signaled, exit was signaled up in here, like I think around 15,000 is what we saw, and then short was signaled shortly thereafter. So you get one signal for, what's that, September through January, 3 months. You get one signal, maybe a little bit less than that, just one long signal. So definitely 18, let's see here, long signal 3684, exit signal 11,201. Shorts were signaled shortly thereafter. So again, getting in before these big moves, holding out through the duration, giving it some time to get a correction, and then, you know, just a counter trend correction. It gives it room, but then once it really starts to become very much in danger of fully reversing, we're getting out, and then we wait for further confirmation before betting on the short side. Okay. When Bitcoin or other alts really get moving, it can be very difficult to distinguish between a correction and a full reversal. We do not want to be exiting during a minor correction. Instead, this is a time when we want to be looking to hold on or buy the dip. This is a very fragile balance. The market has a strong tendency to make corrections look like reversals and to make reversals look like corrections. Therefore, it is very important to have a tool or tools that you trust to distinguish in between the two. I believe that EMASAR is the best way to find that balance. If I knew of a better way, then I would be using it instead. Okay, so just a little go back into history just to see if you know, maybe what I'm saying held true, and what we went through here with the signals in the post I was making on TradingView, how we have open short and then sell, and then close short and open long, and now I'm starting to long. But not only that, but I was able to identify a dip buying opportunity where we had this sideways movement, kind of counter trend correction after a major move to the upside. Was able to use this to identify some place to go ahead and add into a position while it was trending in my favor, and that was something that I wasn't able to get programmed into this indicator, but it is pretty darn objective areas of where I look to add in this type of situation, and that is one of the major reasons I will be establishing a Telegram group for this, is so that we can not only share signals that come from the indicator, but also talk about you know, in real time what it's looking like when we get these you know, these major volatility, and trying to figure out, is this a selling opportunity? Do we need to get out, or is this actually a buying opportunity or a holding opportunity? Having people to talk with through that in real time, I think, will be the best way to teach newer traders how to you know, deal with the emotional element of trading, and it will also be a great way for more experienced traders to get to learn this indicator better. Okay. Following these signals will help us to hold on to positions while the market is still trending in our favor when most think it has moved too far too fast, and will also get us out before market fully reverses. Keep in mind that there will be times when we exit a market that is in danger of reversing only to buy back higher later on. That is okay because it enables us to properly manage risk during times of uncertainty, and buying back in at a higher price is more than worth the cost. So here we're going to go through some bad signals and get an idea for what happens there and what the losses are like in relation to the reward. So here we have blue is basically cover the prior position, so that would have been exit along. Red is short. Blue is cover prior position, cover the short. Green is go long. 5 blue is cover that long, and 6 green is reopen long. So here are the signals. Close long at 25.97, enter short at 23.42, close short at 23.09, re-enter long at 27.59, close long at 33.67, enter long at 42.16. So a long was closed at 25.97 after signal 1 and was re-entered after signal 4 at 27.59. Additionally, a long was closed at 3,367 at signal 5 and was re-entered on the following signal at 42.16. Throughout this 3-month stretch, it would have been most profitable to simply buy and hold. However, this snapshot does not tell the whole story. Both times that the longs were exited, the market was in immediate danger of fully reversing. EMASAR will get us out of markets before they reverse, but just because there's a sell signal, that does not mean that the market will necessarily reverse from there. Of course, we have to understand that there is going to be bad signals. So that's something that's very important to understand. It is simple. Basically, it doesn't mean it's going to reverse from there. It simply means that's the most likely outcome based on moving averages in the parabolic SAR. The most important metric is whether or not the signals from EMASAR beat the buy and hold returns over a significant period of time. 3 months is not a significant period of time for Bitcoin, but 3 years certainly is. The signals for Bitcoin and other 10 alts and other top 10 alts have been backtested over a statistically significant period of time, and more often than not, EMASAR is beating the respective market by a wide margin. Results from the top 10 coins, as well as a few other fan favorites, have been listed below in order of market cap. And I will be going back for questions, so anybody that does have questions I'm going through here, feel free to type that in the chat. I'll be trying to work my way through this, and then I will get to questions. And here I do see that I need to add in a link. Okay. All right, let's see here. Okay, pay close attention to the exchange that is used because the results will date back to the beginning of those charts. By knowing the exchange, you can determine the length of the backtest. These results can be verified by using the free strategy tester on TradingView, and that's where I need a link to that. So let's go ahead and see. Here we go. The strategy tester is available. One thing to note is that we hid the signals from the last 30 days. So since making this free, the strategy tester is free, so you can come on here and go through all of the recent signals for any market that you really want to check. You can just pull it up, and we'll go through that here real quickly. So let's see. Let's hide that. Indicator. EMASAR. Okay. I wonder why. Oh, the other one's private. That's why it's not coming up. Okay, so you can just search EMASAR, and then you'll see Strategy Tester just posted. Already got 7 likes. That's awesome. Thank you guys very much. So click on that, and basically what you will see is that you can come back and go through recent signals, and just the most recent ones over the last 30 days will be hid, so that we can keep those private, and it will list out all the trades that were entered throughout that time period. And you can go over to a performance summary where it will give you basically what you want to look for is net profit versus buy and hold return. Okay. And then that will help you to see how a market is performing in relation to the buy and hold strategy. So results that I'm going through below can be verified using that, but keep in mind it will be a little bit different because it will not have the most recent 30 signals from the last 30 days, and also these will be changing every day as price moves. So keep in mind that it's not going to be exact, okay, but it will be very, very close. Okay. So when choosing the exchange to backtest, I opted for exchange with the best combination of volume and duration. So I wanted a long time period and also one that had some decent volume. Okay. When comparing buying and holding to a strategy, the returns need to be compounded. This is important. Therefore, it is important to access the properties of the strategy tester and set order size to 100% of equity. This can be done by clicking on the gear icon to the right of EMASAR strategy, which can be located at the top left-hand corner of the strategy tester window. So let's go back. So right here, we've got the strategy tester window. Basically, you can just pull that up as much as you want. So here it says EMASAR strategy. Click on the gear icon. Click on the properties. And then here we set order size to 100% of equity. So that if we make 10% on the last trade, we would be betting, say we start with 100 and we make 10%, our next position would be for 110 opposed to just 100. So that is what these results are based on, is reinvesting profits. And I am definitely a proponent of when comparing a buy and hold strategy to an indicator or a trading strategy, the results should be compounded. So that's how you make sure to do that. And here's some pictures just to show. Okay. Data below is dependent on longing and shorting. Only taking long signals will have a dramatic impact on the results. If unwilling or unable to short, then you must disregard the backtesting results below. It is possible to backtest using only long entries with the strategy tester. And I forgot to update this after publishing my TradingView post. I need to come back here and add in the link. So apologies for any eyesores there. So under net profit, use only data listed under long. Pretty simple. So if you're, and we'll see with Bitcoin, it doesn't make much of a difference. Let's just go ahead and pull up ETH USD. So if you're not willing or able to short, then you don't compare the net profit to the buy and hold return. Instead, you just compare the long profit to the buy and hold return. Because if you're not going to be shorting, you can't be, using that data as an indication that you're beating the market with a strategy. If you're only longing, then you only use the net profit under long. And in this example, it's not a problem because you're still beating it by a very wide margin. But it's just important to understand that if you're unwilling or incapable of shorting, that you don't use the all net profit, you only use the long only. And as we saw with Bitcoin, even if you never want to short Bitcoin, you can actually see that you wouldn't be costing yourself much at all from the overall net profit. The 95% of it is coming from longs. So if you are uncomfortable with shorting, then Bitcoin is still going to be a great market to trade with this indicator because you won't be giving up much at all. Okay, so went through that. Now we can just go through some of the back tests. Remember, past performance does not guarantee future results. So Bitcoin, we already kind of went through that, 19,000 to 3,700. ETH, number one for sure, 57,000 compared to 1,300. So beating that market by like 5,000%. Ish. So that's pretty darn sweet. XRP, stay away. I would not be interested in trading that market with this indicator. Sure, it's doing okay, but we just have so many better options to choose from that, something like this I just stay away from. And it's XRP, so maybe it only takes short signals on that one. I don't know, but I would look for some betters. Like if we've got some better results, we might as well just trade ETH and Bitcoin, unless we really see anything else that jumps out at us and has sufficient liquidity. So Bitcoin Cash. Again, a market that's losing buy and hold by a significant margin. MSR's really crushing it. Litecoin is another big favorite of this indicator. Buy and hold 3,342 since the inception of Bitfinex. MSR is at plus 24,000. EOS plus 1,600 versus plus about 100%. BNB, here we come to a first example where MSR is losing. So BNB buy and hold is 1525. MSR is 1,000 plus 1,092. So you see something like this, you just say, no way am I going to use this indicator to trade BNB because it's losing to a buy and hold strategy under perfect conditions. And we will get into how these results are not going to be replicated in real time. And it's very, very important to understand. I probably should have stressed that a little bit more already. Very important to understand that you're not going to replicate a back test in a live environment. There's just too many things that can happen, and we definitely will get into that here after this. So BSV, Bitcoin Cash Satoshi Vision, is beating MSR in a significant way. It's plus 73%. MSR is barely even better than break even under ideal conditions. XLM, Stellar Lumens, another great example of an explosive market where buy and hold is plus 4,000% and MSR is beating it by a wide margin, plus 20,000%. TRX, another example of a market is down over 50% and MSR's up. Still, it would be a lot of headaches and a lot of hard work to get this plus 18%, and you definitely, just because it looks neat seeing it against the losing market, it's not one that I would be wanting to trade at all using this indicator. If we can do so much better, why waste our time and energy and effort to try to, under perfect conditions, barely beat zero? And that's where I think it is very important to not only compare an indicator to a market, to a buy and hold strategy, but also compare it to zero. Like if TRX is down 50% and MSR is down 25%, well, it's beating the market, but you got to stay away from that because it's still losing money. Who cares if you're beating a market and losing money? ADA, down 82%, MSR up 236%. That's neat. That's interesting. A market that's down huge, and this is up significantly, tells you that probably most of the money is being made from shorts on this. And as a matter of fact, let's just take a quick look at that because I'm interested. ADA Binance. Yeah, still getting a little profit from longs, more from shorts. I was going to expect longs to be like losing, being that a market's down 82% and the long signals are still making money. That's pretty neat. Again, under perfect conditions. XMR plus 251 versus plus 754. This is an example of one that I just forget about. We've got too many better options that use a market that's only being beat by about 300%. That's under ideal conditions. So in real world conditions, maybe we don't even beat it. Maybe we beat it by like 100%. This is just something that I would say doesn't interest me based on the other alternatives that we had. Here's one that's interesting. Zcash minus 36 plus 931%. That is definitely interesting. Okay, so ETC, another good one. Plus 3,518 versus plus 273. So these are listed in order of market cap and with the exchange with the best combination of volume and duration. Past performance does not guarantee future results, specifically when you're just looking at a back test. Okay. MSR is beating a buy and hold strategy for 13 of the 15 markets listed above and is beating some by a very wide margin, 1,000% plus. These are the markets we want to focus on when trading with this indicator. There are examples such as XMR that we should avoid even though the signals are beating the market over a statistically significant period of time. Continuing with the example of XMR, the signals from MSR are only beating the market by about 300%. That's under perfect conditions. in a backtesting environment. It is very important to understand that it is impossible to replicate results from backtesting in a live environment, specifically for markets that are open 24/7. Executing the buy and sell signals in real time will never result in the same ROI as a backtest, and there are a number of reasons for that. First of all, trading is very hard. Even when using an indicator that is this straightforward. Often the best signals come when you do not want to take them. For example, you could be convinced that a market is going down further, and then you get a buy signal from EMASAR. Are you going to be able to execute that and use the same position sizing as you would if you were convinced that the market was going up from here? Basically, are you going to let your bias not only affect maybe passing on a signal, but also affect the position sizing? Because if you do allow that to happen, then these results change drastically. Maybe even enough so that some of them aren't even beating the market, maybe all of them, depending on how you're able to manage that type of stuff. That is exponentially easier in hindsight than it is in real time, and will almost certainly take inexperienced traders months or years before developing the emotional control required to execute signals regardless of personal bias about market direction. Once/if you get to that point, then there will be many more variables to consider. For example, what if you're asleep when a signal occurs and the price moves 5 to 10% or more before you get the chance to execute? What if you're on vacation and the price moves even more than that? Do you still execute belated signals, or do you risk missing out on a major move? That's tricky. This will only come with experience, and is the main reason why a private Telegram group will be established for everyone who owns this indicator. Sharing thoughts with others about real-time dilemmas is the best way to learn. Gaining access to this indicator will be as much about learning how to trade as it will be about receiving the proprietary signals. Very important. It may take me a couple days to get the group together. I am heading south for the weekend. I'm going to be in Scottsdale over the weekend, and we'll do my best to get that together ASAP, but it may end up taking a couple days before that has been established, so patience is appreciated. The biggest risk with trading, the important part now, of course, is the risks section. And the biggest risks with trading EMASAR revolve around disobeying the signals. Risk management is built into this system with the exit signals that will occur. However, it is up to the individual to execute those signals. Passing on an exit signal could lead to a big loss, which would have a dramatic impact on the ROI. Most trading systems will have small and medium losses with small, medium, and large wins. This is exactly how EMASAR works. The small to medium losses and wins will mostly be a wash and will account for roughly 80 to 90% of the trades. The large wins will happen about 10 to 20% of the time and will make up 80 to 90% of the profit. For example, let's see, can I get back to just the regular one? There we go. So these good signals that catch these parabolic moves, this is where 90% of our profit comes from. And then you will get chopped in and out. You will, lose and have break even or small winners, and those are basically going to be a wash. And then you'll have one signal that makes up for a huge amount of the profit. So that's something that's very important to keep in mind. Therefore, the two biggest risks are passing on signals entirely or exiting preemptively. Getting chopped in and out of a market can be quite frustrating if you become overwhelmed with negative emotions, and it could cause you to pass up on the next signal. That signal will often be the one that more than makes up for the small to medium losses that preceded. On average, EMASAR will provide only one signal every 6 weeks. This is very important to understand. A lot of people have a very hard time position trading. They have a very hard time waiting for 6 weeks before a signal comes through. Let's just take it back to, how often have viewers out there been wanting to long and buy over the last 3-4 months or so? Including myself. I took a stab at one against my system because of the risk reward when we tested 86. was really looking very appealing to me. So I even took a stab while we're on a closed short, very small position size that I immediately exited and entered short once I was wrong. But just think about it. If you're only getting one signal every 6 weeks on average, and you're having to just sit on your hands and wait and wait and wait and be patient, and then if you're only going to long only, it's going to be like one signal every 3 months. I mean, look at how few long signals we've gotten in the last 3 years. It's just been nothing but a couple longs and a lot of shorts. So it's very important to understand that an indicator, it needs to work with your not only your schedule but also your temperament. Like people who are day traders probably aren't going to have much use for this. It's just going to be very hard for them to actually wait for these signals. So that is something that is very, very important to understand, is that this is a position trading strategy, and it doesn't work on other time frames. Other time frames that are close, like the 3 and the 5 hour, will beat some markets, but it works best by far on the 4 hour. And if you zoom in too much, it doesn't work at all. And if you zoom out too much, it doesn't work at all. So keep that in mind, please. Okay, so get one signal every 6 weeks. Therefore, missing one entry could turn an otherwise profitable year into a loser. Again, say that we we missed this long, this whole year would be basically break even, or basically break even. If we miss this long signal, this entire year is all for naught, basically, and that's just for missing one signal. And think about how, if you were convinced it was going down further, down in here, how hard it would have been to take the signal and also bet in a significant way. And if you miss that, the whole, that's where all the profit so far from the last year came from, that one signal. So missing one entry could turn an otherwise profitable year into a loser. If electing to trade a system, whether it's EMASAR or another, is crucial to commit to taking every signal, regardless of any outside variable, namely personal bias about market direction or frustration that follows a losing stretch. Okay, bear with me. We're almost done. I appreciate everybody who is sticking around for going through this, specifically this section. The risks is most important. Another major risk with this system is taking too much profit too soon. Very, very important to understand this. When getting into a trade that has potential to be a big winner, it can be challenging to continue holding through the swings. Anyone that has watched paper profits vanish will be inclined to start exiting after the market makes a big move in his or her favor. While this is better than watching profits completely evaporate, this mistake can be enough to turn a profitable system into one that loses to the market. If 80 to 90% of our profits come from 10 to 20% of our trades, and it is vital we do not cut those trades off at the knees. If taking too much profit too soon, then you will consistently turn potential large winners into medium winners. This may lead to making money over the long run, which will make it very difficult to realize that anything is wrong. However, making money and beating the market are two very different things. Exiting early and making money is nearly as big of a risk as missing entries entirely. So I want you guys to understand that, and that's another reason why I think a Telegram group will be very important. So I'm short from about 86, like right around 86.34, maybe even a little bit better, 86.50. And now the market's made a nice move in my favor, and we're at support. So I'm having to decide, am I going to take some profit here? If so, how much? And if not, why not? So that's something that this indicator doesn't have, is signals to trim. And it is something that I believe is important. An important part of risk management is taking a little bit of profit as positions go in your favor, but not taking too much too soon is absolutely vital. And that is going to be more of an art than a science. This indicator is very much a science, where it's based on math and gives you exact things, what to do, that are, testable. You can test the hypothesis to see how it's performing, but the trimming aspect is very much a form of art, and it takes touch, it takes feel, and it takes time to really develop a good understanding for where and when to take some profit and how much. And if you're going to re-enter, if I do say trim on my short and then price bounces, do I then re-enter? So these are all things that are you have to deal with them in real time to actually learn, and I think that that's something that's this will be a very good way to learn, even though it is such a cookie cutter indicator. Okay. If you have the discipline to execute signals in a timely manner after they are triggered and the emotional control to let winners run despite the appearance of a vastly overbought or oversold market, then you should have what it takes to beat the crypto markets with EMASAR. If you're not an experienced trader, then it is very important to start out small. The only way to learn is to trade in a live environment, and the only way to succeed is to risk much less than you can afford to lose. If you have $2,000 to trade with, then start with a maximum position size of 20 to 50 bucks. If you're not experienced, you don't have a track record of beating the markets in real time, then start out so small that it makes you not even care about the money that you win or lose. That is the crucial part. If you can remove the emotions or greatly minimize them by greatly decreasing position size, that's how you learn how to trade. Okay, and then you focus on making the right decisions opposed to your results and how much you made or lost. Entering 1 to, okay, yeah, that's pretty much just what I went over. Combat the gambler's mentality when you decrease what you are betting. Okay, it's very important that it's a non-zero amount that is insignificant to available resources. This will allow you to focus on learning. Okay, important notes, this is the last section, and then we'll get into how to buy. Pretty simple. Make sure that you read and understand the risks outlined above. If you jump into this without understanding the unique risks that this system entails, then you're going to have a bad time. There are a lot of things that make EMASAR unique. Two most important aspects: it only works on one time frame, and it's meant exclusively for crypto. The time frame is the 4-hour, and there are some other asset classes, namely commodities, that EMASAR will outperform by a small margin. Therefore, feel free to do your own backtesting in other markets, but proceed with extreme caution if EMASAR is not beating the underlying market by 300% or more. I prefer 500% or more. The only time frame this indicator works on is the 4-hour. It may still beat some others on the 3 or 5 hour, but I've not found any examples where the 3 or the 5 hour outperforms the 4-hour. This indicator was developed around the 4-hour, and that is where it works best. It is for position trading, and it does not work on lower time frames. Adjusting to higher time frames will also cause for bad results, as entries exits will be late to the party. Okay, and here's hopefully what people have been waiting for, and then I'll look at some questions, but basically it's only available on TradingView. Cost is $500 a year, only payable in Bitcoin. In order to gain access, please follow these steps. Calculate how much Bitcoin equals $500 at the time of transfer. Let's just do that right now. So right now, Bitcoin is at 17, so we do 500 divided by 7613, 0.0656 Bitcoin would equal $500. And it doesn't matter what happens after the transfer send, just matters it's worth $500 at the time of transfer. Email EMASAR Indicator at gmail.com. That's EMASAR Indicator, INDICATOR at gmail.com. Include the transaction ID as well as your TradingView username. If you wish to be added to the Telegram group, then please include your Telegram username as well. As mentioned, it may take me a few days to get that up and running, but it shouldn't take long. And then step 3 is just wait patiently. I have to do this manually. Do my best to have a 24-hour turnaround, but there will be times where that isn't possible. You can follow up if it's been 3 days. Okay, so I'm going to see if we've got some questions and then move on if not. Okay. Let's see here. You can't teach traders how to deal with emotions. Nobody can. Appreciate the input, Daniel, but I do disagree. I don't think anybody is born into this world knowing how to manage the emotions of trading. I felt like I had a big leg up getting into it because I had a background in playing poker, and those emotions are very, very similar. When you're playing poker for a living, and you go on bad runs, you start, maybe not making the best decisions. The emotions that go along with that are very, very similar to trading. So I just know from experience that people have taught me how to be better with emotional management. Specifically, I had a coach who helped tremendously. I mean, absolutely tremendously. He was a very, very sharp guy. His name was Cole. He's one of the top coaches out there for a while, and he really helped me when I was struggling with the emotions of having a losing session. I would talk with him, and he would help me to, understand how I could be thinking about things better. And then also, I am very much convinced that if you can teach people proper risk management, you've already done 50% of the work to teach them how to manage their emotions. The large majority of emotions and bad decisions comes from being overexposed. When you're overexposed to a market, I would agree, it's basically impossible to teach somebody emotional control if they have too much exposure and not proper risk management. But if you have proper risk management, it's like you're going into war with a shield. Like you're just you're like a bulletproof vest. It's like you have protection, and therefore it leads you to feel confident. And from there, it's just understanding standard deviation and how long can you really go on losing streaks and still be within the reasonable realm of standard deviation, and how are you able to cope with that. That's something that it comes with experience, and there's nothing that you can do to replace experience, but I do believe that having good mentors or role models or peers can really, really help. So thanks again for the input. Let's see here. So yeah, a lot of comments that are not really sure what that's about. So just going through, seeing if there is any other questions. Hey, do you have BTC as your HODL position that you never sell no matter how much the price falls? Yes, I have always had a portion of my Bitcoin as a HODL, and I do think that that is very important. I have a 10-year plus time horizon of the HODL, and I am going to be holding a certain percentage of my Bitcoin that I never will basically never trade or sell, and that is only Bitcoin that I have for free, that I get for a negative free or a negative cost basis. Like back in 2017, I withdrew a lot of profits, but a lot of the profits I kept in Bitcoin. So where it was something that the Bitcoin effectively was free, because let's say I bought at 3,000 and then sold 50% of my stash when it got to 6,000. Now that 50% left over has a zero cost basis. It cost me $0. So the price could go down to zero, and it's, oh well, I mean, it sucks, but I value it more than that. It would definitely suck if it goes, completely collapses. But I feel comfortable holding on to Bitcoin that hasn't cost me any money to buy. When the cost is effectively zero, I want to put that into some sort of long-term investment, and then also I will rebalance. Like when you go on these big parabolic moves, and you thought that you had 20% of your net worth in a HODL position, and now all of a sudden it's 40 or 50 because the price has gone up so much, I will start to rebalance and take some profit to get that percent allocation back to where I want it to be. Okay. And tell us good news. Let's see here. I'll give just a brief look at the charts here at the end. I'm coming up on an hour. I may have to just do a separate video. We'll see. Why no trial period? Good question, and it's really something that I don't necessarily want the headache of having to deal with that, constantly adding and removing, and people specifically when they're not paying anything up front will become a lot of work that I'm not very interested in. And for me, the trial period has more been following me over the last 6 months or so. Basically, everything I've done has been for free, and I have been sharing many of these signals in real time. And then you can also, like I said, go back through TradingView and see the posts that I made in real time. And that will be, if you're following me and you're taking, putting money to work on calls I was making, which I definitely didn't want anybody to be doing, then that was kind of the trial period. And that is something that, like I said, there will be a free year for anybody who does attend the Advanced Consensio workshop at Unconfiscatable this year in Las Vegas. So there will be potentially some things like that which provide access, but for now there is not going to be any trial period. So thanks for the question. All right. Zizo asks, are you going to make private videos on YouTube for the subscribers of the indicator? That's a good idea. I haven't really thought about that, but that makes sense. There will definitely be some stuff that I want to just share with the group, and whether that be in text format, chart format, or actual video, definitely a good idea. So I appreciate that input. Big Mac asked, did you code this yourself? And I did not. Forgot to give a big shout out to Dav Zucky is his screen name, and David is his first name. He is a member of the Hyperwave Telegram group, and just an all-around great guy, somebody who's helped me a lot get this together, and somebody I've really enjoyed working with. So thank you very much to David, and yeah, appreciate the question. So okay, I'm gonna spend like 5 minutes just go over my thoughts on Bitcoin right now. I don't have any indicators pulled up, so that may be a little bit more than 5 minutes, but what are you gonna do? Okay. And I really don't have too much to add from the last show. I think I outlined it pretty well there, and really I'm not seeing much to add. So basically what we're just going to do is, I have two, okay. Okay. Oh, and before what happened here? Okay, get back into the headspace of charts here. And before I do get into that, would appreciate anybody who has enjoyed this or is interested to come on over and give the post a like on TradingView. If you come to my profile and then just click scripts, you'll see the strategy tester and the regular EMASAR available. So if you could, you're already getting some views and some, oh nice, quite a bit of thumbs up already. So that's awesome. Thank you guys very much. And of course, leave comment as well if you have any questions. So in the last episode, I was looking at the bottom of a parallel channel breaking down and suggesting that we could accelerate the move downward if that didn't hold. That is what happened. So we're just going to go through that again. Okay, so here we were looking as price was breaking down the bottom of this, and it might have been drawn slightly differently, something like that. I had mentioned that it's either a fake out and we get a sharp reaction to the upside, or we fail to get back into this. And I think I gave some exact prices. Basically, I said look for a close below these candles here for that to be a like a rejected throwback. And at that point, it really didn't look like it was going to be a trap anymore. So I said if that was the case to happen, then we would just basically use these new lows to draw in a new channel. and that also has been working out pretty well so far. So basically, we see that the move started to accelerate here. It was on a, let's put this back in here, a less significant angle as it was moving down on this line as support. And then it really started to accelerate kind of right in here. So I'm almost certain in the last show I talked about connecting this low to this low and saying that if we do fail to get back above this boundary, then we would be expecting a new parallel channel to form. So it is neat to see that the median is already seeming to be pretty darn important, with this not yet being important, the top boundary, but I would expect it to become so. So people are asking for good news. I don't think I have any good news for you today, but maybe in a position for just a relief bounce from here up to around 78-ish. Would make a lot of sense. And then just also keeping an eye on this horizontal support. Provided a huge bounce last time. Since we've already retraced 100% of that move, that is not good. That is not bullish. When you get these big moves on high volume, you need them to follow through and maintain support somewhere near the top of that range. When it retraces 100%, that's not good at all. So yeah, I do expect some sort of bounce off this horizontal, but I am expecting it to eventually get taken out and lead to new local lows. I was taking a look at BitMEX. After this sell-off, we did not enter backwardation. We maintained contango, which after a big move like that is also bearish. Most bearish thing of all is this incoming death cross with the 50 and 200 EMAs. Failed to get it last time. Now that we're already back below, it sure seems like it's going to get it this time, and that is a very bad sign. Not good at all. And then, okay, so am going to pull up EMASAR indicator on Ethereum, because we did cover the short signal that came in up here around 86, is now well into profit, and then also got the same thing on ETH in the last episode that I pointed out where that would come in, and sure enough, we got a signal to short that up here, which is also working out well. We can do the same thing drawn in a parallel channel. One thing that's interesting is on this sell-off, ETH did lose value to BTC, where it has been gaining on it. So something like this, keep an eye out, very similar to Bitcoin. And that is going to be everything that I've got for you guys today. Let me check my notes, make sure. Oh yeah, you can set alerts on this indicator. So that is something that I did want to go over. I wish I would have remembered before getting into analysis, but what are you going to do? So really easy to set alerts. You just put it on your chart, make sure the indicator is showing, click on this alert icon, create alert, and then you do EMASAR. The first condition, instead of ETH USD, change that to EMASAR, and then you can change it to whatever you want. If we entered this short, what we would want is to close short position, get notified when that signal comes up. And now, depending on what type of account you have, you can just kind of forget about it and wait for a notification to come up on the app. It'll give you a pop-up on the app. It will show a pop-up on my computer, and I will get a email. So all right away, as soon as that comes in, get notified. And that allows me to not spend too much time or energy focusing on a market when I'm really just needing to let the position develop. I can just set my alerts. Something else that's very important is that you can it's rare, but you can go immediately from a short to a long, and therefore it would be a different signal. You wouldn't get the close short. It is possible for a short to immediately be followed by a long signal. So you want both. You would want to make sure to set an alert for the closed short position and the open long if you took this short, because it could happen where if everything lines up like right at once, which is very rare, then it could say to go long, which implies that you close out your short and you go long as well. So if you are setting an alert for where to close short, also set an alert for where to open long and vice versa. And then let's see here. You can click create. I'm not going to do that now, but just make sure things are connected and then do open-ended so it doesn't expire. Okay, anything else? And that is it. Like I said, if you are interested in purchasing the indicator, just come on over to Sawcruhteez.com. If you've watched this video, you don't need to read this because we read it here today. So you can, if you're still watching today and you're wanting to head on over, you can just scroll down to the bottom, go to the how to buy, follow the instructions, and we'll definitely look forward to not only sharing this with people, but also getting a Telegram group together for everybody. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time now. It just has been a little bit down on my priority list, with this being one of the things at the top. So really excited to be able to kind of get this checked off my list. Got my big to-do list, and that was one of the things at the very top, so always feels good to check something off a big to-do list after working on it for a while. So thank everybody for tuning in. We'll take one last look. Couple questions. So Mike Pope says, will we have access to the indicator on confirmation of paying for unconfiscatable, or will the year start at the conference? So you will definitely, basically be up to you. We could definitely get that started right away if you want. So if you do come over here and register for this conference, on the email that you send, instead of sending a transaction ID for a payment to me, send your confirmation from registering for unconfiscatable. Not only do you have to register for unconfiscatable, but have to specifically register for the workshop. Actually, you don't have to do it. It's all a la carte. If you just want to come to the workshop, you don't even have to register for the conference. But if you are emailing me confirmation, be sure to email confirmation that you signed up for the workshop. And then if you want to get that started right away, I will make sure that you are added and ready to go, leading into the workshop there in Vegas. Okay. All right, so I think that covers it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thank you for any feedback that you can provide. I'll definitely be very interested to hear, and really appreciate not only the support on the YouTube channel, the likes and the thumbs up, and the subscriptions, but also over on TradingView. If you can head on over there and leave any thumbs up or comments, any questions, anything that is coming to mind, would definitely appreciate that as well, and we'll look forward to hopefully seeing some of you soon in a new Telegram group, as well as the upcoming workshop at Unconfiscatable. Should be absolutely a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, so cheers to everybody, and I'll catch you next time.